r/us credit real life 40-year-old virgins. What's your story? A coworker is 51. Never had girlfriend nor had sex. Nature has been a jerk to him. He's an uglier version of Danny DeVito. With strabism none of the acting abilities. I was raised in a religious household, so I was taught to wait until marriage. I had many boyfriends, but I didn't sleep with them because of my vow of abstinence. I wore my promise ring until I was married at age 30. I married my best friend and soulmate. He told me he had performance problems, but he had also never had a girlfriend, and I naively thought that once we were together and naked, things would work out. Turns out I was wrong. He was completely impotent. I decided that I married him because I loved him and not for sex, so it was fine. We started talking to doctors to see if it could be fixed, but then he suffered a terrible brain injury. Now my husband is a paraplegic with many health problems. Weird thing is, after the brain injury he started getting erections. Normally this would be something to celebrate, but has in so much pain due to the paralysis that I can't exactly get on top of him. So here I am, a woman in her late 30s, a married virgin, taking care of her paraplegic husband, and I don't know what the future holds. Edit. Wow, I'm so touched by all of the kind words. I'm overwhelmed by the reaction, but also a little wary of the attention this comment is getting. I worry that someone I know may recognize my situation and then be made aware of our sexual problems. If it continues to grow, I may delete it. But before I do, I just want to thank everyone for all their kind words and for all the helpful advice. I'm truly touched. A friend of mine is 39 and has never lost it. He's super religious, has had girlfriends, but never got married or anything, so he never had sex. Well, that's as far as I know. Maybe he has and is ashamed of it. Maybe he's gay and is in the closet. Maybe he's asexual. I don't know. Normal beer drinking, playing video games, going to bars, and traveled the world sort of a guy. Decent looking but not great. He's maybe a little out of shape, but I wouldn't call it ugly. Thing is, he wants to be married before 6 and also has super weirdly high standards. Like now that he's his age he still won't settle for anything less than a Kate Upton Fats Ultra Christian. My brother got his first girlfriend aged 38. There is hope for everyone. Not 40. But I know one guy who has a macro penis and is physically unable to have sex. Shame too because he's decently good looking and funny. Makes out with a lot of girls. Is 6'3" etc. Completely normal. Only know he's a virgin due to him admitting JT to me when he was drunk. He's early to mid 30s. Edit. He is a virgin in terms of vaginal intercourses. I assume he's done other shit. There is a guy named Buddy who works at a BP down the road from me. He's got to be 40 and one of the nicest guys I've ever met on this planet. Just about all my friends and I will go out of our way for this gas station because we love him so much. One day we got to talking and he told me that he has never had sex, had a girlfriend, or eaten meat in his entire life. Pretty clearly religious reasons, but I didn't ask. Still, the dude radiates positivity and genuinely cares about every single person he meets. Just goes to show that having sex and finding a lover isn't essential to living a wonderful life. Also, his name is Buddy and he calls everyone he knows Buddy, so that's cool. Op HMU in 2 decades for answer. I know a 34-year-old who has never even kissed a girl. Crippling social anxiety. Also hung up on a girl from 15 years ago who has never been interested. I saw a pretty tipsy girl come onto him at a bar once and he almost jumped out of his skin. He was nude having that shit. I have a friend in this situation. She has never been kissed. Even. She is a little bit heavy, but not obese. And she is okay looking. I think it is just confidence. I know someone who was 33. Lots of reasons. Religious/strict upbringing meant no way to interact with the preferred gender until after high school. Overweight in college, which wasn't actually a problem for men finding her attractive. But it killed her own self-confidence, so she never recognized when men hit on her. Hard investment banking career meant working all hours and getting much fatter, so the cycle kept getting worse. Had lots of guys friends, but never recognized anyone hitting on her. Finally got in shape. Got confidence. Lost virginity at weight she was in college when she thought she was fat. Ironic. I'm in my mid-40s. Female. I have a congenital condition that isn't really that disabling in terms of what I can do, but has meant I look very different from other women. Really fat from the way it disrupted my metabolism. Developed as a woman until around puberty, and then started developing about half and half male and female features. Also produced scarring and a general unwell appearance, greasy skin and hair falling out. Even with excellent grooming. You can imagine how sexually repulsive men have found me. So, here we are. I expect to live the rest of my life alone. Of course. At this point, I'm so broken from bullying and isolation that a relationship isn't even imaginable. Perhaps it's a blessing that my condition is associated with a shorter lifespan. I'm 41 years old and had sex only once with a prostitute. I think women find me weird because of autism. I actually work with one hair's like 45ish. Maybe closing in on 50 hair's a strange guy works too much and way too hard saves all his money is generally stingy. But kinda social I know he wants it, but has too focused on work to actually make it happen. This whole comment section makes me think there needs to be a dating site for social awkward people. I would sign up in a heartbeat. I lost my virginity at age 40. I had opportunities, but just didn't realize them at the time. Girls would come flirt with me, but I would just freeze and my mind would go blank. I'm very shy and quiet. I sometimes think I'm autistic, but have never been diagnosed or tried to get diagnosed. I always thought something was wrong with me, and I knew I wasn't normal. I also didn't drink a lot or party. I invited a coworker over to watch a movie one night, and she is also very quiet and shy. I'll let her take the lead and let it happen. That was 2 years ago, and we are engaged now. Some of us are just ugly in both looks and personality. No sob story or long-winded explanation needed. Years of intense social rejection and depression don't help. But they aren't the primary cause. Some people are just inherently unapproachable. Pretty sure I know a 35-year-old virgin. He's creepy. Has the eyes of someone that doesn't see you. He just looks past you in a serial killer kind of way. Also, he only tries to date 18 to 22-year-olds. Combine this with his ultra-conservative religion and Greek family. Add a healthy dose of superiority complex. He asked a buddy to take HLM to the shooting range once. My buddy played it off but then told me when he wasn't around that he didn't want to get Chris Kyled. I'm 27. And I think I like being alone a bit too much. Interpersonal relationships are hard and draining. And the mere thought of having to share my time and to do a big amount of emotional work with someone freaks me out. I've had people ask me to go on dates / get something to drink / whatever. But even when I genuinely like them, I really don't feel like being around them as much as socially acceptable. IDK. Maybe I'm a weirdo. Since there aren't a lot of serious answers, I was, still am, the love interest of a 39-year-old virgin. English isn't my native language. Please bear with me. About 10 years ago I joined an online gaming community. It was small, and I became friends with a lot of people there. We met up at different events in real life. Since I was one of very few women there, the obvious thing happened, and 2 guys developed a crush on me. One of them is now my boyfriend of 8 years. The other is the virgin in question. I cut contact about 6 years ago because he made me uncomfortable and insulted my boyfriend several times. But I still check his Twitter from time to time. He claims he still loves me after 6 years without contact. That guy is one of the most socially awkward people I've met. It took him 10 years to get his uni degree. He still lives with his parents in his old bedroom. He's never had a proper job. He does work, but he does freelance work for about 10 hours a week. He's constantly complaining about how stressful his job is. That's a slap in the face for all people that work full time really. He's also constantly whining about having no friends and no girlfriend. But he talks about women Like we're a completely different species. Although he doesn't have a lot of money, he spends it like crazy. He's often spending 1,000 plus euros a month on action figures and video games. But he doesn't even play them. He has shelves full of unopened video games. I'm not kidding. And he doesn't even make that much money. So I guess he's getting a ton of money from his parents. He's completely dependent on everyone else. Every couple of months his computer catches a virus and he has to bring it to the computer repair shop. But since money doesn't seem to be an issue, he doesn't even try to solve the problem on his own. Speaking of money, his parents are old and they have a cleaning lady. First of all, why not let him clean? He lives with them and has nothing to do most of the time. But no, the cleaning lady also cleans his bedroom. Like why? Question mark? His personal hygiene is awful and he drinks and smokes a lot. He's proud of his greasy hair, etc. He often tweets stuff like I haven't showered in 5 days. Just to get attention. It's sad really. He posts unflattering pictures of him constantly and is like, look how ugly I am. Well, he's not attractive. He's smaller than me. I'm slightly above average height for a European woman. Overweight and wears clothes that look like they're from the 80s. Every time I got into a new hobby he did the same to feel connected to me. I got into photography and bought a DSLR. He got one too and never really used it. I went on a diet. He did too. I started making YouTube videos. He bought a cam and made one video too. Actually, with all the expensive action figures he has, he could definitely become successful on it. But he seems to have no drive to actually do things. He even applied to the company I was working for. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. On one event he wore a shirt that said I'm the biggest Pokemon fan on the planet or something along those lines. He was 32 years old at that time and he wore it to impress me. Our community went to a bar later that night and he decided to light his lighter directly in front of my face. He wasn't even drunk or anything. It almost burned my glasses/hair. While he's not dumb, he just doesn't seem to use his brain sometimes. He falls in love with literally every woman that gives him a tiny bit of attention and he doesn't get when people are not interested. He claims that if it wasn't for my boyfriend, we would be together now. Hell no. He asked me out on a date after getting together with my boyfriend. He insults my boyfriend openly on social media. Speaking of social media, he has crushes on a ton of female celebrities and he collects nudes. Apparently he has a huge folder of tons of nudes of different famous people. I don't know if a lot of guys do this, but it's creepy AF if you ask me. He also had a date with a woman from Twitter once. I don't know what happened, but she blocked him afterwards. Honestly, I wasn't surprised. That guy is just a total train wreck. He's getting help apparently, but he also has a crush on his psychologist. So I highly doubt it's working. This is just the tip of the iceberg really. There's a ton of really weird things he's done in the past, but that would be way too long to write down. TL. Doctor, I know a guy who's 39 and still a virgin. He's extremely socially awkward, has issues and overshares online. Edit, typus. Edit 2, since people keep asking why I know so much about him when I was still active in that online community. A handful of people chatted almost every day, both of us included. So we've shared a lot of personal info. I also check out his Twitter every now. 35 this August. Still a virgin. Haven't even been kissed or on a date. I gave up on relationships and have resigned myself to being alone.